go to the production. And we're going to talk about like our products. You feel free to stop and ask me questions. And if you want something specific, we can talk about that too, because that one might need to. I'll walk you through the products we have, all the basic products and some special products, but not all the special products. So,
No. I
start.
think it just just now.
Okay, I'll start with open roll, which is the basic one. So, open roll, we can do chain operated blinds, zero gravity, neo, and motorized, obviously. If you have, I'm going to show you the brackets and the styles. If you have questions, like hold please. So, the one I opened here, it's our retail guide, which is available online too. And I'm gonna go one system by one, so you can see what is available and what is the data you see in the system. So this one is open roll. What you see here is that you see light gaps. What is going to be the light gap when you install the blind after it? Then what is the depth you need to mount, and when you're looking for site assessment or when you're selling a product, what do you need to know? What's the depth you need? Say they have 1 inch depth, can we do the system or not? So that will tell you whether we can do it or not. Because as you see, this is where the ceiling mount and the wall mount screws are going in. So you can see the dimension. Say you need 2 inches roughly for this tip. That means if you have lower than 2 inches, you have to do get a blocking or something else done before you install the blind, or you have to see alternate option where you can mount it. So for the bracket type, I'm going to just start. So this is our open roll bracket, and we have the end caps on. It's optional, and usually when it's inside mount, they don't use end caps. When it's outside mount or on the door or wherever you're doing, you put the end caps on, and it's slide in. So if you're mounting inside mount and you still want the caps, we have to make sure it leaves enough gap in there so we can slide this guy in after. But we do have 3 sizes on these open roll brackets, as you can see. The reason is sometimes when you have a bigger roll or motorized blinds, a bigger tube, you're going in, this was not going to be enough room for you to mount it. So we have other options too. And it's available white, black, gray, 3 colors. And all 3 has the caps on, specific caps on their sizes. One looks a little bit different shaped. The other 2 looks like just a U. And the caps are available in 4 colors, which is includes the linen in it. We have brown right now, but we are planning to drop brown, so not confirmed yet. But we have 5 colors right now. It will be 4 colors going forward, excluding the brown. So that's the open roll bracket, right? Then you have chain operated blind, where it's going to look like this. So this is our safety shield, which is based on the law we're dealing with right now. So the opening on the chain has to be 44 centimeter according to the law. So you will get approximately say 6 inches. It varies by 1 inch up and down based on the system type. So if you're doing a cassette, you're gonna have say smaller cassette, you might get 7 inches opening, or the max we can have is 7. Some system it'll be 6, some system it'll be 7, but you will get at least 6 opening, so it's easy to operate. So this comes as already attached to the chain and from the building, right? When you install it, or when there's a couple of easier way we can say you don't have to lift the chain to use the chain. We can lift it and put a screw here on this side on the wall, so it'll be like this all the time. So they don't have to lift it with one hand and roll it with the other hand, so they can just use it like this. That's a little bit easier. People who doesn't want to do it, lifting, or when you have say chains longer, or you want to open. If you have chain all the way to the floor and you want to open in the middle, you can put 2 of these pieces, so you can have the opening in the middle, so you don't have to bend down to use it, things like that. So this will be the chain operated open roll. Then we have Neo. When I said Neo open roll, the only difference is you're not going to use these brackets for Neo. It's going to be an end rail like this. The blind will be sitting here. So it can be installed this way, or it can wall mounted this way. So it looks nicer. We have a couple. The one behind there is like if you see there is a wall mounted one. So the rail, there is a rail still, but it's in the backside, so it's not able to see it at least. But this is mandatory for Neo open roll. The reason is to keep these are the Neo springs we have. To put the spring in it and hold the tension, we have to have a system which is like enclosed, like assembled. Because if I release it, if I pull this out, it'll lose tension on it. So that's why it has to have the head roll on it. I'll let you look at these items after if you have questions too. I'm just showing you now. So because this spring is like this big, the shade has to be like 30 inches minimum. So if you see Neo blind, okay, I want to skip to one. So this is a Neo blind you see here. So the one you have with the head rail, which I showed you like this mount, that's a Neo open roll where you have to have a minimum 30 inches. The other thing I'm going to show you today, like you don't have to like do anything, it's all in the retail guide. The other thing I'm going to show is like the online ordering quickly, which shows the limitations of those stuff. So when you enter a blind 29, the open roll Neo option won't be available for you. Like after you enter anything more than 30, it will be available for you to pick, right? So, and the one on the other side, you see there's a 24-inch we can do, but that's only in a cassette and the compact cassette. Those two cassettes we can do in Neo, where we use a little bit smaller spring to go to down to 24 from the bigger spring. That's the difference you're looking at. Like so, this spring usually we do in a cassette. Like so, our compact cassette and the regular cassette, two of those. Where we use a smaller spring to go to 24, right? This spring we use in one other system. It's called Aria. So it looks like this. It's a small sleeve system. It has two bracket covers / bracket all together in one piece. So it's mounted to the wall, and you put the blind and you snap the fascia concept. And this is like a smaller profile. And this is profile you can do only with the Aria. Like you cannot do a chain or zero gravity or like a motor in it. Only for Aria specifically. Or we can do this Neo spring in a cassette. Those are the two areas we use the smaller spring. So open roll, we looked at chain and the Neo. Now we have like a zero gravity, right? So we have two styles of zero gravity. So one you look at is like it's a mini zero gravity, which looks like this, and the other one's a regular zero gravity, which looks bigger. So like you don't have to like pick which spring you want or anything. So based on your weight of the blind, thickness of the fabric, and all those dimensions and those stuff, we decide what spring we're going to put in, like either mini or regular. Both works the same way. Both the smoothness will be same. All those you're going to get the same result. But the reason is because that spring is that big, you can't go shades lower than say 30 inches. I cannot put a regular spring, so we go with the mini springs. The other reason we use mini is like on our zebra interlude blinds, people call zebra. Those blinds we cannot do a regular spring. We have to go this spring. The reason is you have to roll double the time technically. So when you have a new interlude blind, the amount you're rolling is double the height of the window because you have two layers that have to roll in. So when you roll that many times, these springs will break, but minis won't. So that's why we use only mini springs on the interlude blinds, and for lower blinds, smaller size, we use mini. So the two different springs, how you can tell, say it's already installed and you want to do something, how you can tell is like two things. One, you look at the profile, it looks like an hexagonal shape on the end. This one looks like a circle. The other reason you can tell is like these springs always goes on the left side of the blind, and these ones always goes on the right side of the blind. That's the other way you can tell like what spring it is after it's being done or how it's living in the loop. So the one additional thing, when you get like, so this springs will be same for all the systems when you use it, whether it's open roll or cassette or like fascia, these are the same springs we use. The one different we do on a cassette is, so you can see like there's a pin inside on the side, like a metal pin. So what we do is like this one doesn't have it. The reason is we put that on the bracket like this, and we put a screw in it so it locks in place. So in transportation or like when you're handling it, so it doesn't fall out of it, it won't like the reason is our systems are all like spring load end plug like these guys, right? So it has some compression. Like when you push the blind like this, it might have a spring reaction, blind might fall out, but that's why we put a locking pin in it on all systems, like a chain operated blind or like a zero gravity or like a motorized blind. We put the screw on the cassette. So you don't have to remove the screw when it's installed or anything. Only we have to remove the screw when we have to like service a blind. Say if you're opening a part or if you're doing something with a blind, we have to remove the screw. Otherwise, the screw can be there forever. Like doesn't have to do anything. But that will be only in a cassette. So if you're getting open roll, fascia, any of those, you will see like just like this. You won't see any pin in there. So like it's not missing. It's not available for those systems. So that's the open roll zero gravity. One other thing before I go is like so these two. I don't know if you can see. So it looks like a paper clip on this one with the elastic on it, and this side is like a blue piece plastic, right? So these two are like a locking pin for excluding the cassette for the other systems. So open roll, fascia, all those when you get a blind with a spring, it's going to have this pin in there if it's open roll or fascia. In a cassette, you won't have it because it's already locked in place, so you don't have to worry about it. So it'll be just like so it'll look like this, like the elastic will be on the pin. This is how it'll look like in the end of the blind when you get it. So what you do is like say like, remove this, install the blind, then remove the pin, so that the tension will be retained in the blind after install. Unfortunately, say if you pull this out before you put it in the bracket, the tension will lose. That's when like I'm going to show you like there are videos on our website how to put tension back if you have to do it on site. So it's not hard. It's just like you're putting like a tension like this, like just holding it. When it releases, just releases it. But so you put the tension, you put the locking pin, put the blind up, then pull this in. Like that's what it shows in the video. So that's the locking pin for the mini. But for the regular springs, so it looks like this, and there will be a blue clip on it. When you get it, it's going to look like this when you get the blinds, right? So this one, if you're trying to install with a bracket, you cannot install because the piece is on the way. So you can remove this pin. The tension will not release. The tension will release only when this button is pressed. Like there's a button in the middle. It's like a push pin. This will release the tension only when this happens. So that's why we have this pin in only for shipping purpose. So say it bangs on the box like this and say loses tension, then that's why we have this guy. So that's zero gravity. The last thing I have an open roll is like the motorized blinds. So these are the plates like what we use on a motorized line for open roll or fascia systems, which has the same two prongs and a tab on top to hold on the brackets. So like these, looks like this. So these we use in a bigger motors like say SNS 40 or SNS 50 motors, and these ones we use in a smaller motors like say battery operated or low voltage motors. So both are the same concept. The only difference is you see the screw in the middle, which will be there in the cassette just for preventing to come out. That's the only reason we have. So that's the open roll. So far, any questions?
Yeah, on your spring, when you have the, so this system here, when you have that screw in,
Right.
that locks your bracket in place, right? How do you put that bracket in?
So this is only for cassette. So in open roll, you will not have like this. You will have like this.
Okay.
So you just like
So then you set that in the bracket.
Correct. Cassette, you're gonna like when you get it, like you're gonna put this bracket and you just snap it. That's all you're doing, right? So that's only for. I'm just showing like this will be there in the cassette because this bracket goes inside the cassette and like locks it in there.
Right.
So it doesn't come out of the cassette. That's usually that. Any questions? Okay. So then, so the next one you see is so what we saw was open roll so far. There's one me show you quickly here. So this one is it's a spring assist. So when you have a big shade and you're trying to operate it, like the chain is going to be harder to pull it because it's like fabric is so heavy to pull it. So we have a spring assist or lift assist mechanism, whatever you want to call it. We have like say this one is light duty. We have 3 strengths: light, medium, and heavy. So what we do is like we put the clutch on the end like this and attach it. Then we put it inside the blind. So when you operate it, it's going to be smoother for you to operate it. Like even though it's a big shade, you won't feel the weight of the blind when you're operating it. That's the spring assist. The only again condition is like you have to have a minimum of 36 inches, like for the spring for us to put it in. But anything smaller, you won't need a spring assist anyway because it's only 36, right? So that's the open roll. And one other thing I want to show us quickly. Just to show, I have here is like the zero gravity. I showed you the 2 springs, the mini and the regular. There are minimums again, and there's a maximum length which plays a factor here on the mini springs. So the mini springs, so this is a regular spring. Say we put 1 spring in it. Based on your blind, say I might have to add more springs to it, like this. So I can add multiple springs based on the weight of the blind. But the length we can pull it down is like the reason is what you see the shiny part here is that that's a sheet spring. So when you pull the blind more down, that's going to get more tension on it. So once you pull more than say on an interior blind, say more than 85 length, it's going to break. Like this spring is going to break. That's why we have a limitation there, like say 85-inch drop. But that's for your window height 85, not double 80. So that's like technically it's 170. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 170. That'll be the length it can go. But for your, when you measure the window, say it's 85, then you can do it still. On the roller, it's a little bit longer because you don't have to like roll down many times. That's why it's 120 there. So that's the. So this one, it's a new item we just like launched. I want to say a month ago or 2 months ago, less than that. So what it is, it's a clip which attached to the bottom bar, and you have like a wand. You can use it like to raise it up or lower it down for zero gravity blind specifically. So the so this is our IQ bar. So the clip we designed it right now is only for the IQ bars, and you can see it on online. We say zero gravity we do only with IQ bar. The reason is we have a couple other bars like these guys, like it's called Slim Bar, and it's called Deluxe Flat. The thing is, like, I'm going to pass it around. Like, so this is heavier bar. When you have a zero gravity, it's better you have a heavier bar, like for fight back the spring. These are lighter ones, so it's not going to be smooth for you to operate it. That's why we have a heavier bar. So zero gravity we do only with this bar, and we have a clip and the one available online too now if you want to pick. You don't necessarily, so the blind, wherever you leave the blind, that's where it's going to stay. So it's not going to go all the way to the up. Right? Like the Neo blind, when you pull it and relieve it, it goes all the way roll up. But the zero gravity stops wherever you leave it for the next time you to start back from there. So if the window is like say 90-inch high, and I'm now going to do like go all the way up, you leave it like say 70, then you can pull it from down. You don't need a 1. But if you want to close it fully for 90-inch, you probably need a 1, otherwise you won't be able to reach it. That's the main thing. Any questions? Yes.
How long is the wand?
Right now it's 2 feet, 24 inches. Yeah.
So now it's available longer.
Not yet.
Not yet. The reason it's not strong, like we want to keep it as compact as we can on the wall. I'm going to show quickly like a picture or
It's also very thick.
right. So I don't have the wand here, but I'll just show you quickly how it looks like. So one reaches so what I'm looking at here, like like it's maybe helpful for you to do. Like in our online ordering, there's a newsletter archive. So what are the newsletters we send out, like when kind of thing. So if you want to go back and see like the items we send, like say like Google Shade, like you want to see like what are the things quickly you can reach it there. So the one I'm looking at is the bottom part clip and the tension. So this one. So that's how it looks like one, and the older, like just a tiny piece that goes on the wall, just clips in, and you have the. But the clip is easy to attach, and you can remove the clip if you don't want it later too. So that's the zero gravity clip. One last thing. Okay, so open drill is that's all I have. I do have one more type in open roll, which is like a multi-banding. I'll cover it like a little bit after when I cover the multi-banding session. So open roll, that's all I have. Any questions on open roll so far? No? Good. Okay. So the next one you look at is like it's a cassette. So we have like this is a curved cassette, and the one next to it is a compact curved cassette. So for example, like if you need to know the dimension of the cassette or something, like it's available here, and we have cut sheets too, so we can send you the cut sheets and those stuff if you want to give it to someone, like not the entire metal guide. But so we have two profiles, like both looks like this, one compact, one regular. We can do same things on both. Only the restriction is the length of the blind, or based on if you're doing motorized blind or something, you cannot go too long on these because it has a smaller space inside. The reason is motorized, we use 1.5 tube. But for our regular compact cassette, we use 1.25 tube, which is a smaller tube, smaller cassette, so that's why you have a small clutch, which goes inside here. We cannot put a big clutch inside here. So when we put 1.25 tube, we can go a little bit longer because you have more room. But when you go 1.5, you're gonna have restricted size there. So zero gravity and motorized, we have to use 1.5 tube based on the components like those stuff. Those two, if you're doing it in a compact, you have only restricted height. Again, in online, when you type in the height, it won't show you the compact option. That means it's exceeding the limitations there. That's what the tool is. And so the mounting brackets, you see like we have two different mounting brackets. We are trying to come up with one mounting bracket for most of our systems. So we don't have like multiple SKUs for our side. But so what we do is like these brackets, we give you two minimum brackets for the blind, right? Based on the size, we might give you more brackets for each blind. So we have, like say, it's 0 to 60, I think it's here, yes. So if you have a blind less than 60, it's a little bit hard to see, but I'll tell you. If it's less than 60, we give you two brackets. Say 60 to 96, we give you three brackets. 96 to 120, you give four brackets. I would highly recommend to use that many brackets, not put only two. The reason is like it's not going to fall, but it's just safety. Like because of the weight you're going when you're expanding the size, it's better to put the strength on the bracket. Okay, so on the cassette, so we can do chain operator blind, no problem. Neo, we can do like a small Neo or the big Neo. Both the Neos we can do it. The big Neo, when you're doing it here, again, like because you see the size of it, like it has to be 1.5 tube again. So, but we can do inch tube. This is 1 inch tube, so it's even smaller diameter. Depends on whether your blind will be able to like lift it based on the 1 inch tube. We can do it or not. But sometimes if you're not able to do with this spring, then we go with the spring. But again, your block is your height. We cannot go too long on it because the roll of diameter effects. So we can do chain operated, Neo, zero gravity, both the zero gravities. Again, a little bit less size in here, but we can do it in a bigger cassette, no problem. And motorized on both, again. So we can do all four operating types in both the cassette. Yeah. Cassettes, do you have any specific questions on cassettes? So one thing just for both the cassettes, you can wrap it or you can leave it unwrapped. This one I left it unwrapped, this one I wrapped it. So you can do both on either one of them. So it depends on what you want. Okay. On the bar, these are the four bars we have for roller blinds. Like I said, so Right now we have all four of them. We are planning to go with these two bars. One is a pocket, the old style, like we pocketed it and welded and put the aluminum slot in it. The other one is the Aki bar, which is like it doesn't look. I mean, it is sleeker than what we used to have. Our old Aki bar was a little bit bulkier, so we went a little bit longer, but a little bit like thinner. So we went that way, but it's a little bit heavier than the old one, so it holds the blind more nicer. These two bar are like in the future. We're discontinuing these two bars. One is like a slim bar, the other one is like a deluxe flat. It's a perfectly square bar, and this one's a little bit curvy on two sides. But these two are lighter bars, so which doesn't hold the weight. The wrapping, right now we can wrap only this bar, and this bar we're going to keep it. We can leave it wrapped or we can leave it unwrapped. Both options are available. On the interlude, because we looked at the cassette. Cassette is the only option we have right now for doing the interlude blinds. Both cassettes, small and big cassettes. Interlude and illusion blinds. Those two we can do only in these two cassettes out of all we have. So there is one, the new dual shade we released. You can see on the wall both there. The one on the left, I have the illusion blind in there in the front and the blackout in the back. I have this one on here. So that's the illusion in the front, and you have a roller blind in the back on the dual shade. And the second option on the right is the black color. I have an interlude blind in the front, but only one layer. So it's not double layered, it's only one layered interlude fabric. So, so it is not, it's not going to operate like interlude where you have two layers like this. So it acts like a roller shade, but you have an interlude in there. So if you want a blocking, you have a blackout in the back, or you leave it open in the front, like interlude blind. So, interlude bottom bar. These are the two bottom bars we have. I'll scroll it down so you can look at it. Like, so this one is the old style where you have a roller inside the bar and the fabric loops around it, and you can use it. The only reason we don't use this bar right now for the interlude zero gravity blinds, the reason is when you use zero gravity, you're pushing and pulling it with hand. Like if you have the gap here is a little bit narrower. So when the fabric rubs, it gets friction, the zero gravity is not going to work smoothly for you. That's the reason we don't use this bar on the zero gravities. This bar, like we have the roller outside of it where it loops around. So the friction doesn't like inbuilt in it because it's not enclosed. There is a bar, we're trying to merge these two bars together. So we're going to get a bar like this, a little bit bigger, but it'll be one SKU for zero gravity and roller both, which has a little bit bigger opening, but profile doesn't go too big. But the opening we made it bigger and a little bit stronger. The other reason is like when you go zero gravity blind and you're pulling by the bottom bar like this, always we try to pull it from the center, because when you're pulling from the side, two things happens. One, it's going to telescope. Right? What telescoping is like the fabric rolls like screws down on either side. It's not going to roll straight. When it doesn't roll straight, it's going to damage the fabric on the sides. It's going to rub on the sides, so it's going to fray or it's going to get hard or whatever happens. That's why we have to pull from the center. The other reason is when we go wider with this bar right now, you might see small deflection here, like because it's two pieces outside each other. That's why we're going to go back to this style. So for both the zero gravity and the chain motor, everything will be one bar, which looks like this, a little bit bigger. I might be able to show you a sample. I don't have it here, so but that's coming out. So we will be merging these two together. And like illusion, there's only one bar. We have multiple colors because illusion right now we do only chain or motor. So no zero gravity, no neo options in illusion blinds. And the bar looks like this. The one you see in the back, the two clips and the weight, that's for we do it here when we make the shade. If it telescopes or something, we put a weight on the opposite side to counterweight it, so it rolls nicely. The reason in other blinds, say interlude or roller blinds, if it telescopes, there's a couple of ways we can fix it. Like say put a masking tape on the tube, which will fix the rolling. But in illusion, you cannot do it because the tube is exposed when it opens up. There's no extra roll up in it. But in fluid and roller, we have extra fabric in it, so you won't see the masking tape and those stuff. That's the reason we have. Any questions so far on this side?
Bottom right, the new bottom right, one that look a little too bulky on when you put it online.
This newer profile.
Like especially on the smaller blind.
Right. So what we did is like we didn't go like as wide as this way.
Right.
We went a little bit longer too.
Okay.
Like, but it is trying to keep it a little bit sleeker, so it doesn't look bulkier. So that's why we're going with. We got like a few feedbacks. I think people like we don't want to go this way. Obviously, it looks too bulky on the fabric. So we went almost the same size. So I want to say like 16th or 8th more on the width.
Oh, okay.
But the length, we went a little bit like say like I want to say 1/4 inch or something. But the materials inside is a little bit heavier, so it holds the blind nicer. Again, and it has a little bit of opening. We made it wider, so it doesn't rub on the fabrics.
Yeah, but on the smaller blind, it might look too bulky. On a bigger blind, you wouldn't do it.
Correct.
If you have a 15 blind,
Fair enough. I'll show you. I mean, it's still that's why I said it's still in prototype stage, not in production yet. I'll show you. We'll get feedback and we'll go from there. Yeah. So that's the set that I have. Oh, just want to grab a chair. Oh, all right. So the next one we say is the fascia. So we have. Yeah, sure. So fascia is a square profile. We have 3-inch and 4-inch, two sizes. 3-inch, right now it's not wrappable. As some know that there's a wrappable version coming out soon. That one is already in production and those stuff, so we're looking sooner than the other styles. But so the 3-inch and 4-inch both will be wrappable in the future. Right now, only 4-inch wrappable. When you wrap it, it's going to look like this. There's one thing just to notice it, like is that you see the lip on the bottom, you will see the metal extrusion still, even it's wrapped. So it's not going to be like fully wrapped as like the cassette, for example. You don't see any metal extrusions on anywhere. Like this is on the top anyway, right? So on the front, you don't see any metal color, but on a fascia, you will see the small lip on the bottom, which can be avoided. It will be same case here too. So whatever the color, like say you're doing the bar or like a chain, or try to match it with that color for the fascia, even it's wrapped, so it looks nicer. So 3-inch and 4-inch fascia. We have brackets like these guys, so 3 and 4. There are like, so fascia is one you can do like multiple type installs. Say you can do like ceiling mount, wall mount, lateral mount. You can do any style you want. So this will be more flexible when you go on a job site where you don't have depth or you're trying to do something like a little bit different where you're installing. This will be the go-to kind of guy when you have a balance. The reason is on a cassette, the bracket goes in the middle. Sorry, the bracket will be not specific spot. It can be like moved left or right, where like closer to an end will be better. And when you have multiple brackets, to an end and middle, a couple of them you put in there. So problem is you cannot do a lateral mount on these guys because you don't have like an option of lateral mounting it. When your shade is like say like really small, when I say really small, say up to 60 inches, you put only 2 brackets, right? In that case, we can put like we push the bracket to the end and say we put a L bracket on the side, closer to these guys, so like this. Then you can mount it laterally, but 2 things. One, your light gap is going to increase because you're adding an extra bracket on the side now. 2, you might be able to see the lip on the metal when it's mounted like this. So you're going to see the gap on the blind as well, and the metal you might see it. That's why we say not more than 60, because when you go more than 60, you need 3 brackets. That means the middle bracket you cannot do lateral mount. That's why we say up to 60, we will be able to do lateral mount. But there's a couple of things you have to notice, and we have to mention it because we deduct based on that now. Like because we take extra deduction for those specifically.
How much wider is the light gap on the side?
So bracket itself, it's 360 on each side, just the bracket itself. So you're adding, yeah. So So it's almost 3 you're adding to the overall light gap you have.
Right.
3 extra. Yes. But we have to give you this bracket with the L and those stuff. That's why I said like we have to mention it before. Otherwise, the blind will not. I mean, it'll go and you can't mount it then. When we make the blind as full size, when you give me for ceiling or wall mount, whatever size you give me, a finish or type, you just make it that, right? If it's lateral, we have to take extra. If you don't know, then you have to bring the blind back. We cut down, then you take it back.
So when we sell a balance for a rock balance for down the road,
Yeah.
we use the square mounted brackets now.
Sorry, for the cassettes.
Yeah, so for the balance, so you're gonna use your open roll
Right.
and then have a balance on it later.
So open roll will be like these brackets, right?
But
So-
what if you wanna put a balance on it later?
You have to change the bracket.
Oh, so you
The
can't.
direction will be same. So for example, when we make a blind on this, on the future you want to change the fascia, it's same direction. So you don't have to cut down the blind or increase the blind or anything, but you have to swap the brackets because that's where the fascia holds on it. In this, there is a couple of ways you can do. You can like say you got this on site, and if you want to add the fascia without changing the bracket, that's the option. You mount this on the wall already or ceiling, wherever that is, and you just mount it in the front just to cover it. So you don't have to change the bracket. But depends on like how the customer accepts or not, right?
Yeah, couldn't you just put that bracket on now?
The fascia bracket like now and you put the fascia after, you can, but the loop is going to look like this for time being. But you can do it, yes. For you, Jab will talk because the bracket is going to be different from the other one, so I'll talk. 3-inch and 4-inch fascia. The other thing you want to like notice it. Right now, the bracket is going to look like this when you get it. One, you see like 4 square holes on one of them, and one has only 1 hole in there. We have to make sure that we put on the right side. So if you have a chain on the left side, you have to put this on the left side and this on the right side. If you switch it, you have to take it out and change it again. The reason is right now we are waiting for a competitor's pattern to get over, so we can make the identical brackets on each other. So in the future, you will get both this bracket. You won't have to worry about which side you're putting it in. But time being, you have to like this is what you're getting on a 3-inch same thing too. So it looks like this. Like so, just make sure you put the 4 holes on the right side.
But why can't you put 2 of those and forget about that one?
Right now, there's a pattern on a competitor where they have identical brackets on the fascia. So actually, we cannot do it yet, but it's going to end soon. I don't know exactly when, but so once it's done, we're going to go with 2 of these brackets. Like so, you will start seeing the 3-inch already. I think coming out with 2 of these brackets. The 4-inch, we're just waiting on the pattern to go over from the other company, so we can go to do that too.
So the ones with the whole.
Yes.
That's
for the endpoint. So the one, like any operation method, say like zero gravity motor chain, that's going to go on here, and the other side where the hole is like just the end plug, just a small end plug, just goes in there.
Okay, so it's for the chain side.
Correct. So whatever the operating side is, that's where we have to put this guy in, and the other side you put this guy. If you switch it, then you have to take it out and change it, so you can't mount it.
Or hang it backwards.
Some fabrics, like for example, our CS, ours, and those fabrics are identical front and back.
Right.
Even EPD ELT is identical on back and front, which you can do, yes. A couple of things you have to know, like if you wrap the bottom part, then the wrap is going to go on the other side. Even if you don't wrap it, we still put a sticker on the back. That sticker will be in the front. There are depends. Sometimes you can remove the bar, slide it out, and slide it back in. It depends on what we can do on site, what we cannot do based on that.
But it gives you the advantage, you can make it look like a reverse rope when you flip it over.
Correct. So the other thing I have is on a fascia. So these guys you have seen if you did fascia before with us. So what this thing does is like these are chain guards. So these are 3-inch and 4-inch. The difference you're seeing a little bit longer on the Y shape and the bottom, a little bit longer on these guys and a little bit short on these guys. This is a 3-inch and 4-inch. On this goes on the chain side only for chain blind. These pieces are only for chain blind, not for zero gravity or motor or anything. The reason this is the chain diverter. where it runs a chain through this, and makes the chain doesn't like dangle or anything like that. So for example, it's gonna look like this. Here's what I'm gonna just tell you. Sometimes I've had calls from sites that installer like trying to do the fascia does not snap. The reason is like they do like this way, where it's not supposed to be. So it looks, what do you say? It looks practical this way, but it's not. The reason is when you do this, the fascia is snapping. So this on the lip here, that's where the fascia snaps on the bottom here. If I do the chain running here, the chain is going to be on the way where the fascia snaps. Here, on the fascia. For example, you see that picture here. So you see the chain running in the middle and the front, or the middle and the back. The one side has to be clear. That's where the fascia snaps in. For example, this is the fascia, and this is where it's snapping in. So if I run another chain here on this part, the fascia is going to be on the way. So that's why. So we put the front one in the middle and the back one here, like this. Then I will be able to snap the fascia. The reason we did made this like looks like butterfly, so it's universal. I can turn and do the other side too. If not, then I have to come up with this on both sides, and I have two screws technically. That's why it looks goes like this. It doesn't. So the middle one goes here, and the last one goes here. Then I will have enough room to put my fascia like this. Same in 3-inch and 4-inch both. So without this piece, so this piece goes like this, and the fascia snaps in. Like you'll get it like this. You see that? So that's how it snaps in. But without this plastic piece, you will not able to snap the fascia in. So if you don't put this guy in, like I cannot snap it. There's nothing where it latches in. Same with the end plug side. Say you have this side, right? You don't need the butterfly shape. So we have a flatter piece, doesn't look like a butterfly, which goes on the non-operating side, and just then it snaps in the same way. So both the sides.
So if it's motorized, you get that.
Correct. So for zero gravity and motors, you get two of these flat pieces. So you put on both the sides, then you snap it. You don't need the butterfly shape one. The butterfly shape and the flat piece comes in a chain line because you need the chain to run on that and the end plug on this side. But without these two pieces, you will not be able to snap the fascia in, and it will be dangling. So the other thing on the fascia is we can do a reverse roll. On a cassette, you will not be able to do reverse roll because if you do reverse roll, the fabric is going to rub on the curved part on the bottom. That's why we don't do reverse roll on a cassette. But on fascia, you will be able to do. And when you're doing a reverse roll on a fascia, so the blind is not going to fall here, it's going to fall here, assuming this is the front, right? So if I do that, I will not be able to do the fascia this way. The fabric is going to be like sitting on the fascia. So what we do is like we go upside down fascia and snaps it. For this thing right now, we do not need the plastic, but it's better with the plastic so it looks finished because sometimes it looks like this. So it's not going to look finished on the bracket. So even you're doing reverse roll, just put the plastic piece in there so it looks finished. But you will be able to do it on site without doing anything. The only thing you have to remember is you put this on the bracket first, then install it, then you put the blind. Say accidentally you put the bracket and you put the blind, now I want to reverse roll it, you will not be able to because the fascia goes on top of the bracket. Right? So that's why we have to put the bracket fascia upside down on the bracket, then mount it, whichever way you're mounting it, then you put the blind in, if you're doing reverse roll. Last thing on the fascia is you get end caps on fascias like these guys, right? So the way to install the fascia on the end caps easily, if you're doing inside mount, you leave a gap on both the sides of the bracket. So when you mount the bracket, make sure you leave like a 16th or 8th, something like that. You leave a gap because otherwise you cannot get the cap in there later. If you flush it to the wall, then you won't be able to get the cap in there. So when you're mounting this inside mount, you mount it with a small gap on either side of both the sides of the bracket. once you do that, say you're going to put the fascia now. So you put the like T-shaped prong, tree-shaped prong on the fascia first, like this. Then you go and snap it. That's the easiest way to do. So it's going to. So say this is a bracket you have mounted already. Now you're going to go like that. Then snap it. I do not have plastic. So.
You know, what is both for upside down and right side up fascia.
Correct. So upside down, it doesn't like do anything. It's just going to go in the gap where you left the gap on the bracket. It's just going to go in there and snap it. Well, if you're doing upside down, you have to put this guy in before you mount the bracket. Otherwise, you won't be able to get it because your fascia is already in there.
So for, let's say I have an inside mount and I put into the system tight.
Right.
And I've ordered end caps.
Right.
Is my tight, is there a little bit extra
Correct. So
induction maybe?
the cap, the two caps we have, the thickness of the two caps, this adder, is a 316. That's the thickness I have here right now if I measure it. So when you order, say, a finished size and no cap, the fascia will be the same size when you order the blind. If you order a tight size without the cap, we take an 1/8 off from the fascia. 1/8 less than your size. Now, say with the caps on, finished size, I have to take 316, otherwise you won't be able to get the cap in. Because the thickness of the two caps is 316. I have to take that out for you to put the cap and snap it. If it's a tight size with the cap on, we take 516 total on the fascia. So we have to take 516 because finish and tight is a difference of 8 and cap is 316, so total 516, I have to take it out. So two things is like, say, depends on, like we order with the fascia with the cap, you have to install with the cap. If you don't, you might see the fascia is shorter than it's supposed to be because we took extra direction because you order with the cap. But if you don't, then it'll be hard. So here's one I'm going to show you quickly. The other question I have is like usually, say you're doing inside mount, but your depth is not big enough. Your depth is only 2 inches or so. So that means you have 2 inches protruding out of the wall, right? So on the side you're going to look different. And you mount it laterally. Now I can't get the cap in because you mounted laterally, 2 screws. What we can do is like what I did here, you see the line here, I scored it with the X-Acto knife. That's all I did. I didn't do anything. I scored it with the X-Acto knife. Once you do that, you can just do this and you mount it on a fascia. Depends on wherever you want to score it. Like, so the 3 inch I did like a little bit deeper. Say it's only 1 inch protruding out. So I scored it here now. Now you can just do this. So it doesn't matter how far you can go. The reason is the lip, the right behind the lip, there's the tree-shaped one. That's the one which is holding on the fascia. So if you have that, you're still fine to put the cap on it. I mean, if you go less than that, you don't need a cap technically. That's what it is. But you can score it with the X-Acto knife and just break it and put it on. If you want to just cover the portion which is like protruding a little bit out, and I don't want the cap in the back, this is an option. So. I think I covered fascia. Any questions on fascia? Okay. Before I go into other systems, I'm going to show multi-banding a little bit deeper. So what multi-banding is like for people who doesn't know, I'll just quickly brief it. So multi-banding is like you have one controllable line and the other ones are tied up to those blinds. That means if you have a motorized blind in the end, the other 2 blinds or 3 blinds, depends on the sizes. Those are all tied up to this motor. That means when this blind works, all these blinds works too. You don't have a separate control on the blinds because they're all tied up. I'm going to show you the bracket and how it's done. I'll show you might not have it online actually. Let me, okay, so. So we have say multi-band, right? So you're gonna have 2 blinds or 3 blinds. We did up to 4 blinds, but it's like we don't recommend going more than 4 blinds controlling by one motor or like one thing. And like, so on the ends you're gonna have the same brackets like this. For the motor you're gonna have this. On the end you're gonna have this, right? So both ends out of the 4 bands you're gonna have both ends like this. The middle you're gonna have like brackets like these guys. So it looks like this. So I'll tell you what these two are first. Like this one, it's a central link bracket. That means like say if you have 2 bands, you're gonna have both ends like those brackets. In the middle, you're gonna have this bracket where the 2 blinds connect to each other, right? This piece is like we call them central link support bracket. What this does is like this goes right beside it, like this. It doesn't do any operational purpose on this black bracket. It does only for snapping in your fascia end. Say you have 1 piece fascia, you don't need this guy. You can put this in, put the other 2 brackets on the end. So all 3 goes like this on the wall, and you put the 1 piece fascia on the front, done. You don't need that support. Say this bay is like too long, you cannot do 1 piece. You have to do 2 piece fascia, one for this guy and one for this guy. You will not have the room to snap this for both the fascias to snap in here. That's when this comes into play. So you have this blind and the black bracket snaps 1 fascia, and the white and this last bracket snaps another fascia. So that's why it's called support bracket. So it's not necessarily all cases. When you have multiple blind with multiple fascia, you don't need this. Otherwise, you don't need this guy. How it's connected is like I said, the one on the end is like a motor. The other end you will have an end plug. So we have 2 style end plugs. One is like a smaller, one is like heavy duty. 2 end plugs. So when it's a bigger blind, motorized blind, and those stuff, we use a heavy duty end plug, which is more stronger technically. So one end you'll have a motor, one end you'll have a heavy duty end plug. On the middle, what is connecting the 2 blinds together is when you have a motor on the end, you're gonna have this guy here on the other side of the motor on that blind, which is again spring loaded. So which will be on this side. Say you have a motor here, you have this guy here, and on this blind, you have, on the end you have the end plug, but you have to connect this. This looks like a hexagonal shape, same as 0 gravity head. So these 2 goes in like together like this. So it looks like this. It goes in like that. So it looks like this. So when this blind where the motor is, when that turns, the other one turns too. How you put it together is like there's only one step here. Where there's like a ring we have, which goes into that head. So it looks like it goes like that, and you just turn it, and then you can lock it there, so it doesn't come out or anything like that. Turn it, and you just put a lock in it. So this is how it is, and this the middle stem will be between that circle. So it's connected that way. So when you can do more than 2 or up to 3 or 4, you can do. Like if you go more, what happens is like when the motor is trying to pull it, even if it doesn't have strength, because it is connected linked together, it might have a small difference on the bottom bar. It won't be 100% straight throughout. If you go more multi-banding, it'll have a small step reaction happening. So the more and more you go, it's going to go more higher and higher. So we say a plus or minus an 8 difference you can expect on the bottom bar for not lining up. But if you do 2 or 3, it'll line up. But if you go more, then it's going to keep adding up. The other thing is, good thing in this system is, say once you install it, right? Whoever did multi-banding so far, I'll tell you the deal now. Say it's not lining up right now. So what they do usually, they take this blind down, rotate it, put it back in to line up. That's what they do so far. What in this system, what we came up with is like we have a wrench. You can use it on this the hexagonal shape piece, and you can adjust it without taking the blind out again. So you can level it by using the wrench. So this one has a motor, which we have to go as a reference. So you can have this one level. Now this one you're going to match it with this one. Next one you're going to match this one like that with the wrench. So you don't have to take the blind out or like level it or anything like that. when we make multi-banding, we make sure like all say 3-4 blinds, it's all same height fabric, same size tube. Because any of this factor changes, it's not gonna line up again. Because it's all interconnected to each other. So the multi-banding, we will be able to do it in 3-inch and 4-inch fascia. So this is the same concept as a 3-inch fascia, and the one I showed you is a 4-inch fascia. This is multi-banding in a fascia. The same way we have multi-banding in open roll too. So you will have these brackets on the ends for the motor and the end plug. On the middle, you're gonna have this one, same concept. The ring goes in there and locks it in place. So we can do multi-banding in open roll and fascia right now.
So you have a less the gap in between lines.
Correct. So the gap in the middle is going to be 1 inch, say plus or minus 8 again. So 7/8 is what we've seen, but we say plus or minus 8. So 1 inch gap.
Just, the dumb question, so what is where should we be thinking about that as a solution?
So say if you have like 20 glazing like all in one lane or 10 glazing, something like that, and the customer doesn't have to operate a blind individually. I don't care if all goes together, all goes down together, I'm okay. And you're trying to reduce the cost on a motor. So in the 4 blind, I have only 1 blind motorized. The other 3 is like dummy blind technically. So you're reducing 3 motor costs right now. And like say you don't have wiring. Like I have only 1 wire on the end, but the bay is too big for making 1 blind. I'm going to make it as 2 blind, but put 1 more because I have only 1 wire. Things like that. So
and it will have to be a stronger motor, like a
correct. So the multi-banding, like we did 1 or 2 so far with the SNES 30 motor, but the blinds are only like 40 by 60, so it's like tiny blinds. But anything more, like say we did SNES 40 motors and SNES 50 motors, both are line voltage motors. The one we have, say low voltage motor, we have something called Ultra DC. So there's one I can show you quickly easier is in our retail guide. So this is a chart, just since we are on that topic, I'm just going to cover it quickly. So what it shows is like say, how do you choose a motor on job site, right? It's going to be easy, like say, first question it's like, are you willing to hire electrician or not? Like to run a wire in the window or like that. If you say no, the next option is like, do you have a power outlet nearby? And the question is like, it is going to be a visible wire all the time. Like the wire is going to run from the motor to the wire like that. It's going to be there forever. So if they're okay looking at the wire and go with it, if they say no, the only option they have is a rechargeable battery pack. Because they're not ready to run a wire, they don't want to plug in, that means rechargeable. But if they're okay with plugging in, then you have a list of motors underneath it. There's a low voltage and there's a line voltage motors. So the motor I'm talking about is this guy here, which is a SNES 50 Ultra DC motor. That motor, I'll show you another session where it shows you the power of the motor. That's the 4 millimeter. The motors are all named as millimeter, so you can see 4 millimeter, 2 millimeter. Average is 1 millimeter is roughly 8 pounds. That's what the ratio is. So if the blind is 8 pounds, I can do a roll up 28 motor, no problem. If the blind is say 8 pounds or something. If it's more than 8 pounds, I will not be able to do a roll up because that one is only 1.1 millimeter. That's the rough factor we can determine what motor to select. Again, when you go online and say you put the size and you pick the fabric, it'll show you only the motors what is able to do that blind. It won't show you the other motors. That's the other option we can go by. But so multi-banding is like this motor or any motor underneath here, like this called line voltage. We can do multi-band. So say they ran a low voltage wire and they want a multi-band, this is the option you have. If they already ran the wire. But otherwise it'll be line voltage where you have to go with multi-banding. Because again, you're talking about multiple blinds running with one motor, right? So the strength of the motor has to be a little bit strong enough. The other factor is when we do our calculation, what we do is we don't just calculate the weight of the blinds. Say you're doing 3 blinds, we don't calculate only the weight of the blinds. The other portion is we have other mechanical factors we have to count. Say when you're rotating like this, your weight goes multiples It doesn't go like the 3 pound, 3 pound, 3 pound. It doesn't go like that. It goes like 3 pound, 4 pound, and 5 pound. It goes like that, even though it's the same size. Because you're doing plastic and you're doing gears and those turning them concept. So we do calculate that in the system anyway. But any other questions? Multi-banded?
Could you put in a lift assist with a motorized line?
You're looking into it. It is doable, but it's just like looking at what are the scenarios like. I know a couple other companies does it, like where they put like a say a low weak battery motor and you put a spring in for the big shade, which helps it up. But there are other complications like they're running into actually. So over the time the spring gets weakened and like it doesn't keep the limits anymore. The limit goes off every time you operate it because the springs are affecting. There are some factors we are looking into it. It's not the priority list. It's in the bottom of the priority list right now. But we are looking into an option, like where you put a spring on one side and a motor on the other side on the same line, which helps the Newton meter capacity. Like, okay, so wow. So what I'm showing you here is like this system is called angular enclosure. These are typically for pockets. When you have a pocket, like a vessel's pocket in a window, or they made a pocket closer to the window where you're going to put the blind, you don't have to pick a valance, any of these valance, because it's going to go inside the pocket. You're not going to see it. So you do mostly like it's open roll, like depends on what type of blind. So open roll bracket inside the pocket. But now you're going to look at the blind from underneath it. You see the pocket, right? You see the opening. Unless they do some other custom pocket closure, we have something called angular enclosure. So what this does is like, so we have 3 pieces involved here. So there's like, this one is called cover, this one is called the mounting hanger, and this one is called bottom closure. So, let me show you. Okay, so this is what like a pocket looks like, and you have a one line in there. We have specs on them. Say like if someone asking like what size I should build a pocket for my blind, like or their early stage what they're like. We say like 5 by 5 ideally, 5-inch depth and 5-inch height. The reason is that's for single blind. When you're putting one blind in there and you're putting like a pocket that's 5 by 5. When you have like say you want to put 2 blinds in there for like a dual shade, for example, the dimension we give them is like 7 by 9. Like that's the dimension we give them. 7-inch wide by 9-inch long. We're putting 2 blinds inside it. We cover like say for the biggest blind we can make, like say like over 10 feet wide, over 10 feet long. That's the size enough still. If you can go a little bit smaller pockets, depends on your size, but safer. If you don't know what we're planning on doing, just go 5 by 5 pocket, so it's easy. You can do anything you want later. And our closure kind of covers that. So the profile you're seeing there is this guy here. Like that's the bottom closure, and you have a fabric coming down here. That's how it's going to look like from the bottom. So this portion, so in order to like just cover the window, you need only these 2 guys. So you mount this inside the pocket where it's like, you see this 2 portions where the screw. So that's the portion you're going to mount this guy, and you're going to hang this on it. That's how it's going to hang. And same ratio, like say 60 inches every 2 feet, 3 feet, you put 1 bracket and you just hang on it. The one thing is like, because the bottom edge where it's going to be the drywall or wood, whatever they do with the pocket, it may not look finished. So what we do is like we have an optional piece called cover. What it does is like it levels up with the angle closure with the bottom. So say you have a broken drywall or like a wood piece or something which is going to sit here. So you don't see the end where they left it like unfinished or like looks ugly. You can cover it with that, then this goes and it goes seamless. It's going to look like this when you see from the bottom. So you can look at this one. So on the left, what you see is like without a cover. So this is their edge. Over their edge, they left it. That's going to be you're going to look at. And when we put the cover on, so you don't see that edge of they left it, it's going to look nicer with the end on it. That's the one way. The other one, say they didn't make the pocket 5 inches. They made it like smaller, say 4 inch or like 3.5 inch pocket. If they made it, if you put this guy in, like you won't have a blind coming down part. So because this dimension is like 3 3/4, as you see, and there will be no room for you to get the blind out. So what we can do is we trim it in this area where you see the channel. We trim it here and we put a brush on it. You can see the brush. So it's not sharp and it protects the fabric technically. So that makes the pocket closure smaller if you have a pocket smaller size. So we can do that. But usually when you make 5 by 5, this will be perfect. You put it there, you have this much gap in there where the fabric comes out. Right now, that's the pocket closure. This mostly done is like in the little bit earlier stage when they're doing the house, like say construction stage, they make the pocket before they plan to put the blind or something like that. That's when you get into this. So that's the end closure. There is one additional option. Like the reason it's better to go with this is like when you have multiple bracket like these and you're putting inside the pocket, if it's not lined up, you cannot hang it. If it's one little bit higher, one little bit lower, it's not going to hang on them. So if you get this, it's a little bit better because say you can slide these brackets in like these guys, then you go to the bottom edge and just like put it like this. Now it's all lined up for you already. You just fire a screw in and you're good to hang. So it's a little bit better to get the cover with it. Makes install life easier. But so the next one I have is side channels. So the newest one. So this is our old side channel where it's 2.5 inches wide and it's one piece extrusion. So if you're doing a lateral mount like inside the window frame, so we make a hole like this, so you can put a screw through it, and there's 2 small brushes so it doesn't make a sound or anything like that, so it drops on the fabric and the bottom part. This is our old piece where you can do only 2 styles. One, you can do like a plain app where the fabric is so it's welded in, it goes in, no problem. The other one you do is like a split bar where like this goes in and like operates it. The bar we have will not go in, like it's bigger than the profile. So this is our older. Now we launched two things. One, this is like an L channel. It doesn't look like a fully enclosed channel. It's just like an L piece. You can mount the L piece like behind the blind or in front of the blind just to cover the light gaps. What you see. And we have a small chart here, like shows like what you can do with the watt system. Say if you have a roller shade, chain operated blind, motor operated blind, you can do that. When we say the U channel, it's like the fully enclosed, like this profile, and the other one is called the L channel. Say you're doing like a vision blind, then you can do like a U channel or the L channel, both the scenarios. So it tells you what you can do, what you cannot do. Same in online, it allows you, if it shows this style, that means you can do it in online ordering when you do it. So you don't have to like go to this and check every time. So this is the regular side channel where you can see the, if it's a face mount, say you're going outside mount and you're mounting the side channel, where you have to make the hole in the front and we put the screw and we have a little cap to cover the screw. So it looks like same color, but you will see the cap there. So it doesn't look like a same extrusion. You have small caps here and there. If you're doing a lateral mount or inside mount, then nothing is shown because the hole goes on the side, it goes inside. And same with the bottom too. If it's an L channel, so it's going to look like this now. On the left, you see there that they put the L channel behind the blind. and in the right side they put in the front of the blind. You can do either scenario, no problem. The one in the back is a little bit better because when you have the shade down, you don't see the extrusion in the front. On the right side, even the blinds up or down, you will see this extrusion like all the time. That's the one difference where you're mounting the L channel. And you can do it this way, facing this way. So this way, or you can do this way. Either way you can do it. Depends on how you want to see it. Most of people will do that so you don't see the screws where it's going on the side. But there's a couple of good things in there. Like you don't have to worry about like detections. We don't make any special detection for L channels. When we make a blind, we make a blind. Say you want to add it later, this is the option to go with. If you're going with this option, there are other cases like because you must have one of these bars, or you have to have you have to trim the fabric more down because the fabric instead of going all the way, it's going to go stop here now. So all those has to be done later. That means you have to bring the blind back here, cut down, then we put the side channel on. So this will be a good option to add it later if customer wants just to block the light on the sides. This will be an option to go with. The one I'm going to show you now is it's a newer side channel. It's a little bit, let's say it's 2 1/8, so a little bit smaller than what our typical 1 2.5 is. Actually, you can see here like it's almost like 3/8 of the gap, the difference you're looking at. The other good thing in this one is like there is no cap required on these ones if you're doing face mount. So what it does is like it comes like this piece. You go and mount it, you put the screw in, and you just cover it with the cover fully. So you don't have to look at the caps, the plastic caps in the middle. That's the base mount for it. Lateral mount will be the same thing, you will get a hole here, you just go through the wall. Same thing. The one other thing is like the brushes we made for this like a way bigger brush. So it blocks like more light, which is seeping through the brushes. That's the other thing we did. One last thing is, so there is a small plastic cap on the end, which kind of protects the fabric and that's just with the fascia or something when you're doing it. So it looks like a nicer finish when you have it. So it's not bare metal cut piece touching this thing. So, questions? Yes. Other one first.
So the last time we did a channel, we did it with cassette.
Yeah.
And we had light coming in kind of behind the cassette with the two top
Right.
edges. Drove her nuts. I'm sure Paul probably chatted with you about that nightmare. Do you guys have something for that now? 'Cause I pasted up. I was
for
out
the-
there.
For the cassette, so that's why I scrolled back here. I don't know how that order got through. Because for interlude and illusions and cassettes, we don't do side channels. So that already came through. We made it somehow. The reason, for two reasons mainly, is like say any of our like other profiles, say fascia, vision, or like duo shade, all those has a bottom lip. Technically, there's two. One, it sits on it. Second thing, the bracket goes all the way up to the ceiling, so it covers the top two. When you have a cassette, there's two reasons. One, you don't have any coverage in the bottom. The bottom is fully open. So when the side channel goes here, like it's going to sit like this, and you have the gap between the fabric and all those stuff, you have more. So it seeps through, light seeps throughout. Even with this, you cannot protect it, say like 99% blackout. It's not 100% blackout ever. Like you're gonna have light seepage, like somehow you're gonna get it, unless it's mounted outside mount, you're going wider and covering the wall. You're not going to get 100% blackout. If you do that, then you will get 100% blackout because you're out of the window and you're wall mounting it. So the cassettes, usually it's only like L channel. What you can do is like this one, we can go all the way to the ceiling and you can go put this behind the cassette too. So you have this behind the cassette. So all around the window, you have this piece, which is going to block the majority of the light. Again, if you want more light coverage, it's going to be this guy, but you cannot do with the cassette. That's what you're having. So we took it down and you won't be able to order it again. But that order came in, we made it somehow actually, so what happened there? Any other questions on side channels? Yes.
You offer custom paints?
We do. So there will be additional charge.
Okay.
So we can do anything like from say like 5, for example, like I think minimum is like 10 stock length or something for us. One stock length is like 19 feet of extrusion. So like that's our minimum. Say if you have a job, say 20 blind or something, we will be able to do. That's the rough math. There are a couple of bars on there with the different colors actually. Just to see, we can match the last two on this side. On this side. Yeah. So those are the colors which we don't usually black. This is like a medium gray we did. So we can match any color. We have a good company who does like double painted, external paint. We can do all sort of things. We did a few jobs now, the contract jobs, which is big enough, where they want to match the color for all the profiles. Say we match fascia, bottom bar, side channel, all will be matching colors. We can do it, no problem. We have to quote you, obviously, there's nothing preset values, but we can do custom colors. Any color you bring in. We can even match the colors. Say if you give me like a piece of extrusion like this, that color, I can match with that. Like you don't have to give me the code or anything like that. So we do custom colors. Same with the other thing is like quickly is like I think even on the for newsletters, I think this one is like we did a couple of buildings recently with like a red color fabric on it. It looks like that. We did like a blue color fabric. That's like they have continuous buildings. They want one building to be red color, one building to be blue color, one to be orange. So we can source fabric again. The size of the fabric is the size of the job again. Like 30 blinds, something like one roll. I'm able to source it for you, but something like that we can work with. Any color, any size. Like again, like that's what I think you said. You need to be able to find it, but it is doable, no problem. So that's side channel. I just want to take a 5-minute break or something. Yeah, we'll take it 5, 10. Yeah, and we'll come back. Okay, so the wrapping we do is like we don't use any glues or anything like that. The wrapping we do is like a piece of fabric with a spline on the end. So the spline slides in the bottom. Suppose like that. Then you just pull the fabric as like taut you can. So try to be straight. Then we push it like we have some tool, but you can use a ruler or anything like that actually. Like, so you can use a ruler too. Wherever you have flat, you just like push it in. Then we have like a proper locking piece. Just put it on top, then push it again. That's our wrapping. It'll be same on all fascia, every system, same concept. So once you push the rubber in, like tight, I mean, you don't see that in the wrapped, but I think I removed this line. Well, but that's how it's wrapping is done. So, yes.
So if we're on site and we notice a wave or a wrinkle, is there anything that we can do to tighten that up?
So, yes. In next 2 days, in our website there's a video. We show them how to do it without any special tools. Whatever you have, like something you have flat like this is a ruler, but anything like that, if you have it, the only thing is like you just pull this out and just like run the flat piece in there and put this back in. That'll fix the thing. We showed a video with a blind wrinkle and we showed with this is the exact ruler we used it, but we pushed it in and we showed like it takes off. Sometimes you don't have to do it if it's a small wrinkle or something. What you have to do is like you rub it like along the sides, start from the center, rub it along the sides. It will take it off sometimes. It depends on how strong the wrinkle or the curl is. The other thing I say is like sometimes depends on sometimes the installer like grabs a little bit harder, it might pull it more out like if it's not like tight. So I would say a little bit careful when you're doing the cassette grabbing because fascia you don't touch the fabric part a lot, but on cassette that's where you're grabbing to install it. That means you have to be a little bit careful because some fabrics are like thicker fabrics, it locks in place, there's no movement at all. Some fabrics are thinner, like and it has like this. Just this one, it has some silky back, so it slides really easy on the metal. So it doesn't be like depends on how you're grabbing it. Like if I grab it like this and just like pull it, it might just slide out a little bit. Then we can adjust it. So that's the same wrapping in all our profiles. That's that. The one other question I had was interlude fabrics, because it's like the veins on them. Some like what we do is like when we buy interlude fabrics, the vendors, if they do the same fabric without this net piece, it's fully solid, we buy that too. We use that solid piece for wrapping, so you don't see the net portion like on the top and bottom, or like a little bit there. But some vendors doesn't do solid piece; they do only this fabric. We have to use that net piece in. That's when it gets silkier and softer. Some fabrics, it's not even big enough to put it in on the vein, so we don't do wrapping on some fabrics, especially Terra. I think there are a couple others. I think timber. There's a couple other fabrics we don't do wrapping. For example, like I think Herringbone and those stuff, it has a pattern interlude, and they sell solid. So we bought solid fabric just for wrapping purpose. So we do that. And same with interlude, we do fixed shades. Fixed shades is the other thing I'm going to cover next. Fixed shades, we can do with interlude fabrics as a one layer, which will be open, solid, open, solid. If not, we can do it as a two piece, but not operable blind. A fixed shade, Velcro on all sides, but two piece of interlude. So if you're doing a blind, say, interlude in the bottom, and there's an arch or something, we can do a fixed shade with the same fabric and match it on top. So you don't have to go to another fabric to insert. Fabric fixed shade is like there's two ways you can mount it. One, it's going to be like this is the Velcro angle, we call them. It's a plastic piece. One side is flat plastic, the other side has a Velcro hook on it. And the fabric, when we stitch the loop on the other side, so it just like sits on it. When you're doing mount, let's say you're going to put it here and screw it on the sides, so you put the fabric in the front, done. That's the one way you do the fixed shades. The other way is like we can give you the hook side with the tape on it, so you stick it on the window, then you stick the fabric on top of it, so you don't have to, no screw, no mounting thing. It's the way we do fixed shades. The other balance, there's two other balances we have in open roll. So when you're doing open roll, right? There is two balances we have as an option to cover the roll. One is called fabric valance, which is like a same piece of fabric. We cut it like say 6 inches, and we put a aluminum slot in the bottom so it looks seamless. And the top, where you're mounting it, if you're doing a ceiling mount, you put this on the ceiling and you stick that 6-inch piece on the front so it covers the roll of blind. So you don't have to do a balance specifically. The other way is like if you're doing a wall mount, for example, we give you this guy here, so your blind will be here technically, and this goes on the wall, and you put the same fabric in the front to cover the roller. That's a fabric balance. When you have a wall mount, we do with the return. It's not the greatest thing because when you have a return, like it doesn't stay nicely flat to the side. It flares out a little bit.
But what you can do is put a piece of Velcro on the wall, so when you stick it, it'll stick permanently.
On the top you can, but what
On the
I've
side
seen is the 6 inches.
You put
On the
a
side
piece
too, correct. So if you have enough mounting space and like the option to mount it, then we can put this Velcro on the side like this, like I said, and you can stick it on it so it looks flat on the sides. But same goes to another. So these all you can add a layer too. So you have an open roll, and you don't want to see in the bracket. You want to just cover the roll. Those are the two options we have. One is fabric balance. The other one is called PVC balance. So this one, it's like just a piece of plastic, solid plastic on one side, and there's an insert portion. So you insert the fabric on it. And ceiling mount, you just fire screw through like this, and you mount it. And if it's a return, we have an edge piece, and you put the same fabric here and here, so it covers the roll inside here like that. As an optional layer, if you want to do it. Mounting, same. We have like ceiling mount, you just fire screw through the ceiling, that's it, done. If you have a wall mount, then this piece goes in like that, and you just mount it on the wall. This is the option, like you can add it later, but it's not going to look like a finish like a fascia. It's going to be like, because it's a plastic extrusions and those stuff. So it's what, yeah. So, any questions so far? So Roman, I'm not going to go in depth, but if you have questions, I can explain later. But Roman, we do Roman manual operated and motorized. So these are the two profiles you're looking at. This is a manual Roman, where it operates with a chain, you see here. and the mounting bracket, same concept as the curved cassette. So if you're doing like multiple bigger size, you're gonna go multiple brackets, and these brackets can be like say like here or here anywhere. Installers will love this thing because you can just fire screw anywhere they want. It doesn't have to be a specific spot. You can just mount like anywhere in the ceiling. The only thing you have to make sure it's lined up so you can snap it easily. It comes out easily and goes on easily too. So the bracket looks like this, same as the curved cassette brackets. So always like the bottom first, then just push it in, and locks in place. That's all it is. Same goes to the motorized one. The reason is like the reason it looks bulkier, the motor goes inside here. That's why it looks bulkier. We can do low voltage motors and battery operated motors, not the line voltage yet. Line voltage motors are bulkier, bigger, so you won't have enough room there. The fabric is stuck in the front with the Velcro. I'll show you the couple of moments I can show you. The cards will come out here, and the cards will be connected to the back over the one for now. But these are the two profiles we have for manual and motorized. Any questions on moment? Otherwise, I'm not going to go in that moment for now. Okay, so we'll do dual shade now. That's what I'm going to show. So we launched dual shade recently. So our dual shade bracket. So this is new dual shade. We launched it. I want to say like one of the like the smallest profile for the two blinds with the roll of what it can achieve. I want to say this is the smallest. So you're looking at 4 3/8 by 6.5 inch. So 4 4.5 by 6.5. Say, roughly. That's the size you're getting two blinds out of it. Like so, that's how it's going to look like when you have a finished product. When you're putting in a smaller window, it might look a little bit bulkier. But when you're going a bigger blind, it won't look bulkier because the window is that big. So that's what you get. So the configurations, like there's multiple ways you can put the blinds in there, right? Because there's like two on the top, two on the bottom. So technically you can go like regular roll, and you put the fascia on the front as a regular roll, like you see here. That's the only option you can put the regular roll, regular fascia. All other cases, your fascia has to go above the bracket, same concept, like say all the fascia goes on top. And regular roll, reverse, or regular reverse. You can do multiple configurations you want. But to have a nicer look, probably better to go with the regular roll and regular roll if you can. There are a couple of, like you have to look for like crank handles, or like door handles or anything that's on the way, then you cannot do regular, then you have to go other options technically. So when you get the bracket, you might see a little bit different parts attached to the bracket, which I'm going to explain now. So when you're getting a motorized blind or zero gravity blind, say a regular roll, that's all you're going to get. No extra pieces attached to it. Just a bare bracket, and you're going to get like two of these flat pieces, same concept as 3-inch, 4-inch. You put on the bottom and the fascia snaps into that piece. That's for our manual and motorized and zero gravity regular roll. So that's what you're gonna get. So it's gonna go like that and just snap in nicely. But so when you get say any of the other styles, say reverse roll. What you're going to get is instead of the regular bracket, you're going to get the two pieces extra here in the front. What that two pieces does, that's what is going to hold your fascia in place. So that's the two metal plates attached to the bracket, which is holding the fascia in place.
So it snaps in.
Correct. When you're going upside down, because there's no other room for snapping in. That's why we attach these two metal pieces. If it's a reverse roll, only when it's reverse roll, you're going to get the two metal pieces. If not, it'll be just a regular, no attachment like that. That's the only difference in a reverse roll. Now, when you have a chain blind, right? As you see, because we made the bracket as narrow as possible, when you put two chain, one chain here, the other chain is going to fall on top of this guy. which is not good because it's going to be on the way and it's going to get caught. So what we did is we did like a chain guard inbuilt, which is like a two roller, like a pulley system. The chain is going to run it through that. I'll show you how it does, but so. So this is how the chain looks like. So it doesn't disturb the other blind in the front where it is here. But if you don't have this piece, what happens is like the chain is going to run like this, and it's exactly where the other clutch is going to be. So that's why it's better. And the only one difference is like again, same with the open bolt concept, because we attach this piece, we write like a L and R in it, just to make sure that's a left side bracket or right side bracket. Because if you do this bracket on the other side, what happens is like, so this is the left side bracket, and if you're doing a right side, the chain is going to be in the front now. So that's why we write left and right. It's the same thing, only difference is where the two pieces goes, in the back or in the front. That's the only difference. But if you don't have this piece, you might be okay if your one blind is same, one blind is more price, for example. Then technically you can get away without this piece, but otherwise it's always better with this piece. And if you're doing chain left and right on the duo shape, then you don't need this piece because it's not on the way technically. So you can do multiple ways. The one, say it's a chain operated and reverse roll. You're gonna have this for chain and this for reverse roll. So those are the four types. This is chain regular roll, chain reverse roll, and only reverse roll, or motor or zero gravity, or like flying without anything. Those are the four different types. We do it here, you don't have to do it, but just what's the differences on the brackets when you get it. Any questions? Yeah.
So you can unscrew it.
You can. So it's like there's you can just a screw and the nut here with the piece in it. So you can remove it and you can put it on the other side if you have to, or just uninstall the chain, the bracket on the other side. One or the other. Either side works. Same with the chain. Like if it is not particularly the chain easier than removing the bracket and doing all those fun stuff, you can just pull the clutch and put on the other side. If it's okay, we put the same hanging on the other side. Depends on what's the easiest way to have. And they have two caps. Same concept goes for mounting the bracket. If you're doing inside mount, leave a gap on both the sides so this can slide in. But if you don't have, if you're not doing inside mount, you're doing outside mount, you don't have to accommodate because this is all peel and stick, double side tape. These are plastic right now. We are working on a sheet metal, so it's thinner. It doesn't have to be like this thick because right now this thickness is almost 1/4 inch at least. Where the regular fascia is like 316 when you add together, this is like 1/4 inch. So it's quite a big thickness you're adding to the sides, which is adding more light gap technically. So we are working with the sheet metal, so you don't have to leave that much gap because sheet metal can go through easily, no problem, and it stays the same way. If it's inside mount too, you peel it, then you slide it in, it sticks to the bracket, no problem, it doesn't fall. If it's outside mount, you peel it and stick it to the side of the bracket. The bracket will have the exact same 3 spots, 1, like 2, and 3. That's where you put the double side tape exactly where that is, so it sticks to that. And fascia, we can do it same concept like either leave it unwrapped or wrap it, same fabric. I wanted the fabric to show like that. Same one thing is to notice is the metal piece, the lip is going to show a little bit on the end. The main thing you have to notice is that when we do reverse roll, you don't see that lip, it goes off. But there's one other thing you might see. Say we are working with the wrapping gear, like right? So we have a clear plastic and the wrapping gear, so that's what you're going to see from underneath it when you look at the reverse roll. We used to have a different color before, and we made it sure like because we had a white fabric with a black rubber on it, so you see a black line. So we made it clear now, so it's like not visible that much, but it is noticeable. Like there's something here when you do a reverse roll. It's not like. Any questions on dual shear? So when you have a chain line, same concept goes from here too. So even though there's a guy running the chain, like here it's like more dangling now, right? So this piece goes in, The front chain goes here and the back chain goes here, so both the chain runs through this, so it looks finished and nice when you're coming down.
And is there enough room in the safety covers, because those are bulky, like
Right, so this,
positioning everything on the wall and being able to reach it, or are we better off doing one chain on one side?
you have enough room. I mean, if you're mounting this much in your window frame, the safety shield is lesser than this, so you're okay. But say you're protruding like halfway out, then you won't be able to put the safety shield properly. Then I would say left and right will be a better scenario. Depends on like what's your mounting depth on the side thing. That's where it falls. But then like you like when you say left and right, it'll give you accordingly the different parts what is required. That's our dual shade. Any questions? Dual shade, that's the axis here, right? So I have an open roll dual shade too. So this is our open roll dual shade bracket. That means like no balance in the front, no coverage, but it's just 2 rolls. This has the same configuration. You can put 2 blinds here and there. Same thing happens here too. The chain doesn't run straight, runs on top of the other blind straight. So we have like a slider, which slides into this guy, and the chain slides like this way, so it doesn't fall on top of the other clutch. That's open roll, and we have covers for those guys too, like the end covers. It looks like this from the side. That's how it looks like. That's the open roll dual shade. We are able to do dual shade multi-banding too. But this dual shade, you cannot do a big blinds because the roll of diameter affects you a little bit. But our dual shade, so this one, for example, I can tell you is, to be exact, the roll of diameter we can do each blind is 2 3/4. That's the roll of diameter you get out of it. Say you're putting a 2-inch tube, for example. That's like for Sonas 50 motor. If you're running a Sonas 50 motor here, line voltage motor, you are able to do it. The only thing is now you have only like 3/4 of a roll up left because you use a 2-inch tube on it. That roughly is 90 inches long, a blind. So if you have like a Sonas 50 motor 90-inch length, you are still able to do in this bracket. If you go 120 long now I don't have enough roll of diameter here. That's weird. So it depends on like scenarios like what you're able to do, or you just do 2 open row blinds and cover with a piece of fascia in the front. So you're like faking it like it's a fascia, but it's not. It's 2 open row in the back. Depends on different scenarios you run. Yes.
Doesn't that also depend on the thickness of the fabric?
Correct. So I said 90 inches based on our standard CS fabric and E standard. But if you pick like a thickest fabric, it drops a little bit down. The thickness doesn't affect too much. So instead of 90, it might be like 82, maybe something like that. It might affect a few inches based on the thickness.
But if you use EPT, you could go longer.
Correct. I said average 90, so like a little bit up and down. Like boardwalk or even thinner fabrics, like you can go longer too because those are thin. Sometimes vinyl is better. The reason I'm saying vinyl is better because it sits nicely on the tube. So it's like it doesn't have like a bumps or anything like that. It sits nicely. So the roll of diameter is smaller technically with the vinyl. So that's the difference in dual shade. No questions so far? Now, let me show you a couple of our new fabrics. Just what we launched recently, say from last year, September. You would have seen the fabrics, or I have samples here I can show you around too, you can pass it around. So, like, most of the fabrics we launched from last year, September, is like all 100% polyester fabrics. And those are like, say, I'll show you the fabrics that I'm like, or I can go into. So Gaia is like one of the blackout fabrics we did. It has a pattern on it. So it has like 4 colors. It has like the roll width, the price group. All those are there. The other spec is like in our front page of the retail guide, we have the fabric spec sheet like this, which shows all the characteristics and what we can do with this fabric. What are the things that are. So, for example, the first, the price group. So you see there, like, so these are light penetration. That means like what is the percentage of the openness of the fabric? Say 1%, 2%, 3%, 5% privacy. Then you have blackout. The second one is the composition of the fabric. like how much PVC in it, how much polyester in it, like those details. The third one is fabric width. What's the roll size we get in? That is a little bit important when you do wider shades. You have to know like can you do the shade or can you railroad the shade? Like if it was railroadable, that'll be the next one actually. No, railroad is the last one. So the next one is like fire rated. Is that fabric fire rated or not? Green guard, antimicrobial, sound absorption. Sound absorption, funnily, it's only one fabric. It's EPT. That's the only fabric which has sound absorption. No, there's no other fabric with a sound absorption feature in it. Then you have roof-like fabric, like which is a aluminum backing fabric. Those are the shades you can make. So roller shades, you can use all these fabrics. Contract, there are some restrictions. Roman, you have a little bit more restrictions. Like, so for example, if you ask me to like say bling fabric to do Roman, I won't be able to do because there are some fabric which doesn't allow you to the bend and those stuff when it piles up. We cannot do. Then we have like a pair of sets, and that means we have a privacy and a opaque fabric on the same pattern, like so matching fabric front and back. That's a pair of set. Then we have a graphic shade where it shows what are the fabrics we can do graphic shades. Then we have railroad, that's the last option. Same with the transparent. Then you have a translucent and opaque. Those are the different ones you have. Any questions on fabric parts? Okay, so the next two I have here is showing the graphic shade quickly and so these just to show the troubleshooting videos in our website. So far we have like say zero gravity tensioning open roll or cassette or like the deluxe flat the spline replacement. So what that is like initially we had some issues with the glue and those stuff. So now it's gone. You won't see that. But if you have older blinds, say you're having a spline issue or the bottom bar issue, that's a fix for that. If you have, so like we do graphic shades as we like show you like here on the wall. So any pictures like say you have a good like say 300 we call 300 dpi. That's the quality of the picture. Say the 300 dpi, we will be able to print it on the shade and I'll show you. In our website, the retail guide you have, there's another feature like you click on the sun logo, it goes to the top page. Then you go to the first couple of pages and see what you want, and you click on it, it goes to that page. You don't have to scroll all the way down. So if you click that, it goes straight to graphic kit. So it's better to keep in a drive, I want to say, not download it or print it. The reason, a couple of things I say, like when we make some changes, it automatically updates your drive. But if you print it out, then the change doesn't happen to your book yet. That's why we say keep it online. So what you say is like that's the difference quality you're seeing it. When you have a 30 dpi, that's what it's going to look like. 100 dpi and 300 dpi. That's why we ask for 300 dpi. When you give me a file with an image, 300 dpi is what we ask them. If it's a logo or something, we ask for a vector file. Like so, they will have a vector file. If they made a logo, they will have a vector file. We ask that for that. So that's why we ask. Then we accept like all kind of formats, like say Photoshop, JPEG. Depends on the quality meets that we can accept that file we have. So this is the places we do graphic shades. What I want to show you here is so for pricing out, it's really easy to price out the graphic shade. What you see the setup file is like say if you're doing 3 images in that house, that means like 75 times 3, 3 different pictures. But if you're doing the same picture like in 5 lines, it's 1 line. Like you don't have to multiply by 5. It's the image setup cost technically. The second one is $6 per square feet. That's the ratio. The one difference is it's of the shade, not of the printing size. So if you're printing like say 2 feet by 2 feet, but the shade is like 7 feet by 7 feet, you're pricing for 7 feet by 7 feet. Because we have to send the whole fabric to the machine, not only the 2 feet by 2 feet. So they charge you for the full fabric, not just a portion. But if you get the image 7 feet by 7 feet, it's the same price too. Depends on what size image you're getting. Like on it, and if we have to say you don't have the quality picture or something, we have to work on the like it's $100 fee design. We'll let you know as soon as we see the picture is good enough, or you can modify the picture and give me back so you don't have to pay the $100. Depends on what works. The physical sample proof, it's so before we print on the blind, we do get a sample piece on the same fabric what you asked for. It'll be like a 12 by 12, like 12 inch by 12 inch. We'll send it to you, you approve it, then we make the blind printing. If you don't approve it, like say like we have to make changes, whatever we work with, but that is like $96 per sample. So if you make changes like something like we don't work with, then 96 plus 96 goes on. But that is optional again.
So sometimes you work with clients, especially marketing clients,
Yes.
they're very particular about the capturing their colors
Right.
on the shade. So we should then budget for a sample and then it will be run to those same kind of color specs that we get on the sample.
Correct. So I would say price for one sample. The reason is it depends. If we make some changes on there and like from the image, then we don't charge you additional 96 for the next sample we're providing you. But if the customer like say they give me an image and they don't like the image color, what is on the image, then they have to have another $96 for next approval. But it's one approval is better, I would say. Some people like it doesn't matter like the color a little bit off, I don't care, like just print it, like then you don't need it, that's why we say optional. But we usually say we send the fabric, get it printed, send it to you, you approve it, then we print on the blind, then we make the blind, right? So that's it's like roughly like 2 to 3 week process, like say, for printing on the blind too. So it's not like too much time consuming. As soon as we approve the sample, we're on production basis now. So
Is that net pricing or is that suggested?
so there is no discount on these guys. So these are all like net price, right? So yeah.
So back to color, one more question. If it's a, let's say a line art logo.
Right.
And they want to match a certain PMS color, a color target.
Right.
And it's a black and white file, so is that possible?
Uh,
Or is it a 4-color process?
No, it is possible. We can send you the image first before even printing the sample, and if they like the color, then we'll put the sample. We can work with, but that will require the design time technically. That if you're working with the black and white and changing the color and those stuff, it is doable. We do it, but it's just like additional time involved with the technical. Any question on the graphic sheet?
For samples, you said that's gonna be 12 by 12, right?
12 inch by 12 inch, and it'll be not the full picture. It'll be like portion of the picture. Correct. So because like when you have as back to the chameleon, I think. So this is what you like you will get only the eye and the mouth on the sample. You won't get the full chameleon. Like it's zoomed in and like what is going to be the same ratio from the blind, we take it out from 12 by 12 and give it to you. Because that's what you're going to see when you get the blind, right? So
That's probably the concerns.
it depends. It's only for color and yes. It's color and the pixelated technically. That's the two main issues. More than the color, it's more the pixelated. Because they give me it's like a small file and say like, okay, print it, that's fine. When I print it like this size, it's going to pixelate out.
Right.
So it's going to look like more like 100. Like even 100, it doesn't look nice because it says pixelated.
Yeah. Is it gonna be on the same fabric or?
It'll be on the same fabric. Whatever fabric you pick on the blind when you order it, it'll be the same fabric we give you the sample in. Yes. So the next one is the wallpaper. So same concept for the file works and those stuff, like DPI, vector file, all those same thing. We do a couple of other ones. If you've seen showroom and people who've been last time, I think I showed you like say a couple of them we did like they bought me like a pillow which has a pack on it. So we just took it from there, we scanned it, and we took it there and we fixed the artwork and we printed it in the blinds. So we can do any sort of those things in a wallpaper. So there might be a couple here. Say you have a porcelain tile in your kitchen or something like that. We can take a picture of that with a good quality. Then we can print it and put on the blind at the bottom. So it looks like just a trim on the bottom with a print on it. Like it's the same color as the tail in the bottom. So we can match any of those like that. The only difference in the wallpaper is like it comes in 53-inch width. So it has to be like panel by panel. So we put wallpaper 53-inch, then we next to it. We do line up and match it like the artwork. So it's not going to be like mismatched aligned or something like that. We have a few wallpapers around here. You can see on the other rooms too. I'll show you. For the pricing part of it, there's like three types of wallpaper we do. One is called Phototech, the other one is 3M, the last one is MacTac. The difference on them is like it's the one is a composition, you can see it's a polyester, those two are vinyl. You have the vinyl has a texture on it, it looks nicer feel on it. The fabric finish, the polyester will be fabric finish. The other important thing is the insulation. In the Phototech, you can see it's a peel and stick, easy to install, no problem. But the other two, the 3M is like it's a little bit harder to install it. The other one is easy. Removability. So that's a little bit questions we ask when you get the wallpapers. Say you put it on. If you want to re-push in it like later, you can on the first one. And the last one depends on the timeline. The last one is like if it's more than 6 months, it's not easy to peel it off and re-push in it. But the rest of them you can. The second one in the middle, that's why we recommend insulation because it is not removable. Once it's up, it's up. Like if you remove it, it might affect the wall. And the life on that is like you can see the first one is like 10 years indoor, 5 years on the 3M, and 2 to 3 years. After 3 years is like permanently permanent, like MacTac. It'll have the same effect when you remove it. It'll affect the wall. And those are dollar values you see per square feet. Those are MSRP. And they have, I want to say 50% discount. No. So those are, yeah, they have MSRP retail discount as 50% on the discount, so that's not the net price. That one is like all the dealers get 50% off that, like, which is the wallpaper. So Crimson Pole, any question on wallpaper? Crimson Pole and like I don't know what the word is, so I'm not gonna explain it. But we have Swarovskis and plastic and wood, all styles. And the dollars are here based on the width on the fabric. You place it, all those options. There's one video I want to show on Reflect fabric, as we just spoke about the fabric. Sorry. Just run it through quickly. These are marketing materials we have, like books, most of them, like everyone will have books. But we have the displays like these. So like we do like teardrop, like 3-step like displays if you want like them. And this display stand, there's one track here on the wall where it shows like it rotates around, so you can put like almost 8 blinds on them. Like and we have and these are like the marketing materials that we have. So if you want any of those. I'll show that last. I have to see where it is. What that is. So just a like, quick 3-minute video. What does it? It shows the reflect fabric, like how effective and all stuff it is.
They're gonna have to do this in paper. differential between four identical fabrics. First, we're gonna test out the black fabric, and the only difference between these two is gonna be one is gonna have a metallized fabric on it, and one's gonna be without. And then we're gonna do the same experiment with the white colors, because one is also gonna have the metallized back on it, and one will not. We're gonna test the heat gain by using our thermometer, and we're also gonna test the amount of sunlight that's coming through the fabric by using our lux meter. Now, because we can't get it sun in here, we're gonna use a halogen lamp, which does take out a lot of heat and a lot of direct light. We're gonna begin by testing out the black fabrics first, and this one's not gonna have any metallized back on it, so you can set it right there and feed benchmark temperatures currently in the room using our thermometer. So right now, we're sitting at about 24.8 degrees. So we're gonna leave it there for about 20 seconds. Okay, to simulate our sound, we're gonna use the halogen lamp. And using our lux meter, we're gonna measure how much light is coming through the fabric. So right now, we're sitting at about 248 times 10 lux. So naturally, darker fabrics are known to hold on to a lot more energy. So after about 20 seconds, if you measure the temperature of the fabric, you're gonna see that we're going up to 45.2 degrees. Now we're gonna do the same experiment using the same kind of fabric, but this one is gonna have a metallized dot on it. So the first one we're gonna do is we're gonna measure the amount of light that's gonna come through the metallized backing fabric. As you can see, you're not gonna see much of a difference here since dark fabrics are known to hold on to a lot more heat. So we're sitting at about 239 lux times 10. And if we take our temperature, you're gonna see the difference when it comes to the reflective back. This one's sitting at only about 28.6 degrees in comparison to 46 for the previous fabric. Now we're going to do the same experiment using our white fabric, and this one's not going to have any metallized backing on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by measuring the light that comes through the white fabric using our lux meter. So white fabrics are known to cause a lot more nuclear problems since they let a lot more light through. So right now you can see that we're sitting at about 1,165 lux times 10. So in terms of temperature, you won't see a bigger difference since light fabrics don't absorb that much heat as the darker fabrics do. So the temperature is sitting right now at about 29.6 degrees. Now we're going to do the same kind of experiment with our metallized back fabric. So we're going to set it right there and take the lux meter to measure how much light is coming through our fabric that has a metallized back on it. So here you'll see quite a bit of a difference since we're comparing it to 1,100. Right now we're currently at 267 lux times 10, which you can see is quite a significant difference compared to the one without the metallized back on it. And again, temperature won't be that much of a difference, however, for experiment's sake. We're sitting at 28 degrees right now with the white fabric.
So water, two things mainly, like what it shows is like, when, like depends on like whether you're doing a white fabric or black fabric on a window. The black fabric is going to like say absorb with like a lot of light in it, but the temperature like doesn't very big difference. But if it's white fabric, the temperature varies like a lot, but the light comes through is more. It's one or the other. Like it depends on like you want to block the light more or like more efficient like on the metallized backing. So that's the main difference on the metallized backing fabric. We have three metallized backing fabric. One is our CS fabric, which is Reflect, which is a 3% fabric. The other one is the Apex Reflect. One is like a Zio with the Apex. So price point of it, Apex is a little bit lower than CS fabric, and the third one is Matus. Matus is another fabric which is like only 2 colors, but the CS has multiple colors in that technical one. That's the Reflect fabrics. And like this, in our website, like we have like fabrics and it shows the categories and those stuff, and like what are the same features and like all the stuff. When you click on this, that goes to the sheet, which is the retail tag, which is the sheet, which shows the overall category. Yes.
I was asked a question by a client in a non-technical fabric, let's say a Lima.
Okay.
Does it provide any type of either insulation or help with that? And because it's not a technical fabric, it's more a decorative fabric,
Right.
I say I don't have the data available. But is there any type of general information I could
We like number down wise, we don't have it too for Lima, but we have
what's a big thing?
there is
In general,
we have
scale?
correct. but not specifically Lima. We have something general. I have to see where it is. But we have something like a document which shows like it does save energy and those stuff, but not in the extreme of reflect fabric. But it does. But it's not specific to. It's a general sheet, not like specific fabric. Right.
General translucent.
Correct.
Okay, so that's available.
Correct. And it shows like I think it's white and black, two color difference mainly. Like that's what we show. We don't show the other colors. But say it's the same category. Linen will be in white, brown will be in black category. Same kind.
Okay, that'd be really
I can ask Paul where it is. I think it's more of marketing material which I don't have, but there is something that they can do. Any other questions? Or any specific topic you want to cover? If not, I'll just brush it up like a automation, really quick, not in that. But if you have any other questions,
Regarding the reasons, are you able to bring on the process?
we haven't tried it yet. The reason is like it's not going to come out nice for sure. That's one thing. The reason is because of the net material in the middle. That's where it's going to be challenging because the paint is not going to stick on it. That's why I'm like it tells me we never tried it. We can ask the printers. They have tried it before. I can check that. Any specific topics you want to cover? Anything like no, nothing? Okay, so I'll quickly brush up the motorized part. Then I guess you want. Let me. I'll show it in the way of online ordering. It's easier to like see together. So, okay, I'm going to just like say like. I can't make a shade that size, sorry. So the biggest shade you can make on the lengthwise is 300 inches long. You can make a shade, no problem. The widthwise, I want to say it's it depends. Like if you're okay with the welding and a seam on it, technically we can go even bigger. But if you want it as a one piece, you're looking at 100 inch by 300 inch as one piece long. Given that the fabric is now wide enough, then I can make a shade one size. But if it's welded, we usually weld the fabric. This is called horizontal. Yeah, so we weld it horizontally, not vertically, because when you do vertically, it's going to like have other problems when you're rolling in the tube and those stuff. We weld it this way, and we've done multiple welds on a single line, which is longer. We can do that too. Given that, like again, whether the fabric is well rollable or like all those other questions. So I entered like the size 60 by 60. So all my fabric will show here in the category all, or you have to go to a specific category. Like if you know exactly which one, just go that one. If not, just go in all. So all the entire list will be here on the roller shade of fabric, right? If you enter a shade like say 100 inch or 120, for example, only one or two fabric will show because the rest of them are not. So let me put it. Say if I put 120, if I go here, it'll show me only 4 fabrics because that's only 4 fabrics which is wider than 120. So what I have to do, say on the top option is called railroad. If I do that, whatever fabric can be railroaded, it'll be here for you. So you can pick from here, no problem. That means we are railroading it. Say if I for example, if I pick this one, and if my length is longer than the width too, for example, 120 by 120 then. Yes, probably. Sorry. If I pick this, it will say the length is both length and width is longer. That means you have a seam in it now. So that's what we like say you acknowledge it and say go ahead. Now, so it'll say zero gravity. Like I said, we do only on the IQ bar, which is like the heavier bar. We have you see the two names there, IQ bar and IQ bar 2.1. This is IQ bar 2.1. The old IQ bar is still the same profile as these guys here, which looks a little bit rounded edge on it, a little bit smaller. So you can see the difference here. That's the difference you're getting. This it's just until quantity less. So this will be the going forward bar. And you have so front wrap, all those you can do it. We recommend not to wrap the zero gravity because you're going to touch on the fabric every time you're holding the zero gravity and push up and down. We do have a clip now, so that's the other option to go with if you want wrapped. So just to go back one. So this one is called the M mold down bracket. What that is like, say if you're putting a blind in a door or something, when you open and close the door, the blind is going to keep going front and back, which you don't want to do, like banging on it, right? So if you select that option, what we do is we give you the two-piece plastic triangle piece, which goes on the door in the bottom, and the bar goes and locks in that plastic piece. So it'll be like fixed on the bottom. When you want to operate the shade, you have to release it from the bracket, then you operate the shade. So there's one extra step involved in it, but it won't. When you have a shade most of the time down, it'll be locked in, so it doesn't bang on it. And that's the option when you select it on the bottom. Then say you're doing motorized, right? The reason it allowed me only motorized is because of the size mostly, and the fabric and that too. So 120 by 120, I have only motor option on this size. Say if I pick a motor, now I'm saying like battery motor. So this difference here, the controller, what the controller is like you see here. So wireless, it means like you can operate the shade with the remote control or like a wireless wall switch. Wired means like it has to be a wired wall switch. You cannot like do it with the wireless. The last one is like it's a totally smart home integration. When they run like a communication cable, power cable to the window, it's more advanced version. So if I pick say wireless, and the next option you have there is WAN. That's like a WAN motor you see there in the black fabric. That's a WAN permanently attached to the line. You just press up now to use it. So if I use wireless, on this one, it doesn't show me any size because the battery motor cannot do the size WAN, 120 by 120 with this fabric and this specific condition. So if I go low voltage, same wireless, I have the ultra DC motor, which is a 4 millimeter motor. That motor is the only one which can do the size shade. And one other, like line voltage, technically will show all the motors you have there. Because that size you can do it. If I reduce the size just to show the other differences you have. So if I go 60 by 60 and go to like the battery operated now it will show me the Sunlow mini motor, bidirectional motor. It shows all the motors like because any motor we have can do a blind 60 by 60 technically. If you go down, what we made a change recently is like below the motor. So once I pick the motor, it is the SG Mini with rechargeable battery pack. The SG Mini is the external battery pack. That's why we mentioned to say rechargeable battery pack. But if you pick the regular Sunlow motor, the battery is inbuilt in it technically. Now, we made it a little bit easier, so pick the remote and the power supply here itself, not in the add-on section. The reason we did that is like, sometimes like if you're new to automation or motorization, like you don't know what remote or what charger to pick with it, like there are multiple options in the add-on. Like you have all the remotes, all the power source, so you might pick something which doesn't compatible with. So what we did is like we went, we did, let's see. Now it will be, for the remote, it will show me only the two options what is compatible with Sunlow motor. So if I change this motor to like say a Sunus 30 wire-free motor, it will show all the remotes what is like Somfy's remote goes with that motor. So you don't have to like know which remote goes with which what. Same thing goes with the power supply too. So if I pick this motor, and if you pick this remote like on the first one, the next ones you can leave it without picking it. If you need only one remote for the whole order, you can leave it like the other one without pick. But the power supply is same. Like you have, so for this option, like we have the Sunus 30 wire-free motor. We have the Sunus 30 wire-free plug-in charger. That's the only one you can use it for charging the motor. But we have two cables, which is like the extension cable, like which is like 6 feet and a 1.5 foot extension cable to extend the for power charging it. Then you have a Tom here, which is a smart hub, which you can see like there is the power shaped one on the right side. Somfy used to have something called MyLink. a lot of people would have known, Marlink is discontinued now. They don't carry it anymore. It's only the tall one, which does a lot more than Marlink, and it's almost the same price as the other one anyway. So you can pick all these in the same category. You don't have to go to add-on. But if you need, like, say, a different job, I need a remote, I want to place it with this order, you can go to add-on and add that remote too if you want. So you can do that simultaneously. So in this category, like, because I put 60 by 60 now, it shows chain, motor, neo, and zero gravity. All three options it shows because I will be able to do. When I put 120 by 120, I was not able to pick other options, right? So if I pick zero gravity, like it will show me what are the cassettes I can do. So 60 by 60, technically I can still do it in compact cassette, no problem. But if I increase the size to like 60 by 90, for example, I may not able to show compact anymore because the size is big. Now it shows only curved cassette. It doesn't show you compact because that size is longer than what you can do in that cassette. So it stops you from picking something you can do. Same with angle closure. All these options which I showed you will be here. Then so in this category, it shows trims and pulls if you want anything like that. After that, you can skip this whole step if you want, but it was like an L channel. Because this was angle enclosure, we put L channel and the bottom channel both, or you don't have to pick any of these necessarily. But so if we go other options, let's say show Neo, for example. It doesn't show me the angle enclosure or anything like that because Neo I can do it as open roll or I can do it as a cassette based system. I will not be able to do it in a fascia or an angle enclosure. Same concept. So this is how we made it easier. But if you have any other suggestions, let us know. We can work and make it easier for you too. But the motorization, we made it so it's easier here, and the same the chart I showed you earlier. How to pick a motor will be another specific area where we can show you. So here's these are things you're gonna see here. So this is SU1 motor, which is that one, rechargeable. The mini motor, it's external battery pack. These are Somfy motors. What it shows you, it shows you the retail price, the order code, and the part capacity. What you see here, like I said, 1 millimeter is roughly 8 pounds. Rough math, if you know, you want to do it yourself without the online, you can do it with this. Then it shows the noise level. The quietness of the motor, decibel. The good thing I would say, if a client asks you how loud it is, they don't understand say 38 decibel. Now I understand what is 38 decibel. I don't know. But we have a chart somewhere which shows compared to the home use item, home use appliances. So the refrigerator sounds 44 decibel. So you can compare, say, the sound of your refrigerator will be the same sound as your motor. Roughly, you can compare that way. So air dryer, that'll be too loud. But one of those you can compare with that and show. That's how it would sound like. The quietest motor, Somfy has, is the two motors. So one is Sunus 30 Ultra wire-free motor, and the other one is the low voltage motor, the Ultra EC motor. Both are less than 38 decibel rating. Those are two ultra quiet motors they have. And the next, other than the noise level, it shows the minimum width. What you can do with that motor. So if I have a blind, say 26 inches, I will not be able to do the wire-free, Sunus 40 wire-free motor because I can do only the shade which is 30 inch wide. I can do it. Anything less, I cannot do that motor specifically. So the smallest motor we can do is it's 16 inches, which is the mini motor. The reason we can do 16 is because it's external battery pack. The battery goes outside the motor. That's why the motor goes smaller. When you put the battery inside, for example, the Sunus 30 wire-free motor from Somfy has 27 inches. So roughly that 11 inches there, 8 inches for the battery technically. That's why it takes more space when you have a battery inside the motor. There are a couple of advantages when you have external batteries. You can remove the battery, charge it in your cable, put the battery back in your blind. That's easy, one. Because otherwise you have to get the wire with the extension cable and those stuff run through the blind motor to charge the motor. That's the extra benefit you have external battery pack technically. Some cases like people doesn't like the battery pack, so if you have decent depth, you can hide behind the cassette. But if you don't have, it will be visible then. That's why people doesn't like the Rexon battery pack. Then it'll show. So go over into illusion. Like we can do all these motors, but when you go to the line voltage motor, for example, in the bottom, you will not be able to do interlude with these last three motors like here. And illusion, I can't do any of these motors because of the cassette size and tube size, other restrictions we have. Then on here we have below that we have like the UL certification for the motor and the CAN RQ certification also. Then we have control options. What we made it here is like we patched as a group for the motors. For example, you see here power options like group 6. So that means like on the bottom after the couple pages, so you have group 1. So if you go to group 6, whatever like that motor can take it, you'll have it here too in the middle guide. If you're not able to use online customer site or something, you can use this and install. So these are two you need, like the charger and the extension cable, like for each motor types. So we started that way. So by the way, this is the external battery pack, what it looks like. This is a plug-in transformer. So say it's way high up. I can't charge the battery pack. I can't do solar panels or any of these cases. Then what they do is like they put the transformer, plug it in, and leave it plugged in. That's it. You don't need any battery pack or anything. But it'll be plugged in all the time. Once you unplug it, the blind won't work. Basically. Solar panel is like one thing. Is like main thing. You have to be careful when you sell solar panels. Like if you have a tinted window, say like most of the window coming out now is like tinted windows. If you have tinted windows, solar panel does not work. Because the light doesn't come through, the sunlight doesn't come through the tinted window, then it won't charge the motor. Two, if it's like north facing or something, you're not going to get much sun. Or if you have an overhang on the window, you're not going to get much sun. So the sunlight has to be a little bit more direct to the solar panel, otherwise it doesn't do the job it does supposed to. That's that. And the one below that you see is a battery tube, which is like old style AA batteries. So you don't have to charge them. You throw the 8 batteries out, you put the new 8 batteries in AA batteries, then you're good to go for the next couple of years or 3 years. Depends on how many times you use it. But it has to be specifically lithium battery. If you use other batteries, say alkaline or nickel batteries, it won't, the line won't work anymore. That's what it does. It doesn't transfer the charge to it actually. It might work for a couple of days, then it'll stop working. Try to recommend, if you're using this, try to recommend like they don't buy batteries from the dollar store or something like that. It doesn't last you longer. Just to put like a better batteries in it. So that's all it is. Then for the low voltage, we have option like so until the group 6 is all battery operated, like as you see here. Then you have a low voltage where in the power supply there's 2 options. This is for 2 motors. One is Sinus 30 and the other one is Sinus Ultra 50. Those 2 motors, low voltage. You can plug in a transformer, like same concept as the other one. But if you have multiple blind in the house, you don't want to like plug transformer everywhere for every motor. So we do have a box like this, which can take 5 motor, 10 motor, 50 motor, and 20 motor. So if you have 20 motor in the house, you can buy one box and put it in the electrical room and plug all the 20 motors in that box. You're powering all 20 motors with that one box technically. But that one you have to run wires from the window to the electrical room. That's what it is. Then we have line voltage motors. Typically there's 3 styles. One, it's just we call them fast connect. The motor will come with this side you see here on the top here. This piece comes to the motor. It's inbuilt in the motor. This piece is what you have to buy separately if the electrician wants it. So if you put this and the other side is a bare wire, they connect to like a junction box or wherever they connect to. So when we come in with the blind, which will have this end, we just twist it here and we're ready to go. And if you have to service the blind, you remove the clip and you take the blind down, you can do anything you want. Like that's easy enough. So this is one time put in. This second option is like if you're not running a wire but there's a receptacle next to it, you can plug in the motor directly. You don't have to run any wires or anything specific. So that's what the second option is with the NEMA plug, a 3-prong plug. The last one, it's directly from the junction box. They're going to do their own wiring or something. They will need this plug because we have to connect to the motor like in the end, right? So that's the last one. That's the cheapest one. Then same concept goes to the Sinus 50 motor. Those are Sinus 40. These are Sinus 50. Only difference is the connecting piece looks a little bit different from the other one. That's all the difference is. But the cable sizes are here, like 6 feet, 10 feet, 18 feet. Whatever size we want, we can get it, like the plug. That's the motorization you have. Then it goes to SDN, which is more in depth. Then you have accessories there. So, any questions on motorization? I know I just briefly did it. So, we have a separate session for automation, which is in September. So, we'll be in depth automation. So, if you want more, we'll do some SDN and both too. So, it will be more in depth. For example, the Tallma, which I showed you, like, so these are the systems where you can connect from Tallma directly to these systems. So if you have a job with say Control 4, for example, that comes in, you can put the Tallma and you can connect the wireless motors directly to Tallma without any other help. You need only the Tallma. But if you're doing like say, other than these ones, for example, Lutron. Lutron is not here. Lutron, if you're doing Lutron, I will not be able to put a Tallma and connect to a Lutron. I need something else, which is like, it's called the Lutron interface. I have it. But it goes. So Config Connect LTI. That's a Lutron translator interface. That's why like you need that code. So based on the interface what you're connecting to, we can work with it. No problem. Any questions? I think I'm not going to go more in depth in order unless you have questions. But let me see. Lunch is ready.